today we're going to be taking a look at the Lexus RX450h L. So stay tuned for this video. So at a touch of a button you can raise and lower the front row of seats. Front row up, you've still got a decent amount of boot space there. And this particular car is fitted with the Lexus rubber mat, so as you can see it's got the little daytime run lights I've seen in other Lexus models. That just means it protects the boot, and this particular car is fitted with the brown interior. At a touch of a button you can close the boot. So now we're inside the Lexus RX and we're greeted with a nice well appointed cabin. This particular car is finished in kind of like a chocolate and cream two-tone interior. So we've got this has got a brown dash, brown steering wheel, brown plastic on the door with the cream inserts, and the seats are pretty special. It's got cream inserts inside and then brown on the outside. I quite like the fact that Lexus have also extended the brown to the carpets as well as the floor mats. So if I go ahead and start the car up, foot in the brake and push power, the seat moves forward and the steering wheel comes a little bit forward depending on your memory set when you're seating on the right hand side here. The central infotainment screen is controlled by this mouse pad, so if you're on your radio station you click like so, if you push menu down here, and you can slide across what you want for your infotainment, media, sat nav, etc. And I also quite like this little screen the Lexus has for their cars, or the hybrids anyway. We've got nice clean cut gauges that you've seen in other Lexus models. The central bit is an LCD display, so you can swipe through things like your miles per gallon, tyre pressure, etc. If you move to the right, it gives you your sat nav, radio and your lane departure warning. I quite like leaving it on with the battery and the engine just to show you what's getting charged, what's getting used. Nice clear fuel gauge on the right, and then your left you've got power, eco and charge mode, which typical Lexus fashion, if you switch to power from normal to sport you get a tachometer, but using a CVT it's a simulated tachometer. And I also like these analog clocks that Lexus do, it's quite a classy touch. We've got Dolby Digital sound. This particular car is not finished with the Mark Levinson, so that's an optional upgrade, however we'd recommend that as I think it's quite a nice feature. This car is finished with the wireless charging however, so just down here below the climate controls you can put your phone. If it's got the wireless charging ability it'll charge up nicely there. And as you've got a CD player, climate controls nice and easy to use. You can even control the rear one if you wish. This car does have free zone climate controls for the front row as well. And also quite like the fact if you look at the trim in this car, it's got little lines through it, which is a little bit different. Quite nice. We've got the Lexus bottles, and if you lift this up and push this little button here, it says push, this raises and lowers. So if you've got a big drink or a small drink, depending on what you want, you can have it. As I mentioned, we've got a CVT gearbox all the way down for drive, and if you move forward to reverse you get the reversing camera popping up, and you can change if you want trajectory lines or what just by a touch of a button. This RX it isn't touchscreen, so that's why we're a bit further away, so everything has to be through the mouse pad, but it does have a little enter button, so when you're select onto whatever you want you can just push enter, and there we go, it pops up. As quickly touched on, we've got the drive modes, left for eco, push down for normal, right for sport. We've got an EV mode, so that means you can drive up to about 28 or 30 miles per hour roughly for about a mile on electric battery only, which is quite good as well if you're just wanting to maybe creep out the driveway, or if you're in stop and go traffic. It will automatically switch between modes depending how much battery power you have, and you've got traction control mode if you're stuck in some snow and you need some traction. And under here we've got a nice big bin lined up with fuzzy stuff And we've got some 2 USB ports and auxiliary cable, along with a typical charging outlet that used to be called a cigarette lighter. And even got an area for your pen, which is a nice touch for Lexus. One thing about Lexus is they hide their glove boxes quite well, so you push this little button there, and it's very large and lined with the fuzzy stuff. Oh, as you can see, all that's nice, rather wet or kind of plastic material. You got a nice blend of materials there, and I quite like the fact stitching across. Above we've got touch sensitive lighting. It's pretty cool, and a little bit of storage there for your head. A little bit of storage here for your sunglasses. One thing Lexus do really well is the headlining, and this car's no exception. If you have a feel of it, it's got a nice soft microfiber, and also you can tell the quality of a car with some of the things that don't skimp out on, and Lexus being a premium brand, it's got a nice soft headliner. This particular car's finished in kind of a beige colour, so it's very light and lights up the whole cabin. It keeps it nice and light and airy. You can get an optional sunroof, which I'd maybe recommend on a 7-seat crossover like this. So on the left hand side here we've got your light stock all the way up for main beam, down for auto. It's also your indicators. And on the right hand side there you've got your washer, so up for a quick wipe of the wipers, down ones for auto, which I typically would leave it, and then you can adjust the sensitivity there, and all the way down if you were in a heavy storm and you wanted it constantly blowing. While we're here, we may as well touch on one of the main systems, and that is the heads up display. I think this is quite a great system in this car. It's really easy to use, and I've seen it before in a previous car I've looked at with Lexus. So it shows you things like your compass or your directions, you put in your sat nav, your eco power displays at the bottom there. Those little lines show you if you're on the, when you're on the road, they'll light up solid white, and that's for your lane departure warning. And on the left there's your speed. The RX is loaded with comfort features such as automatic heated and cooled seats, so just leave that in auto and the car will work out for you. But if you want, you can put that onto heated and override that, or equally if you're feeling warm, override that and put it into cold. And also has a heated steering wheel, which is quite nice, and it heats up the side parts of the steering wheel, which is always nice to touch. We've got electric mirrors, doors and windows on the right hand side, and this little bit here is lined with carpet, so your fingers don't get scratched, and you can keep maybe your keys or a phone in there if you wanted. And the door bins themselves come towards you, just like my Lexus IS, and you can put in a bottle or whatever, maps, whatever goodies and things you want in there, your snacks. And as you expect, nice high quality trim and plastic all throughout the cabin. And on the right hand side there, you push this little button in, you hit that to full beam and then push auto. That'll set, so when you're driving around it'll dip and control the LED lights. It's pretty impressive. I've tried it on another Lexus model, and when you're on the country back roads it really does illuminate the road. If it's an oncoming driver, it does take that away from the oncoming driver, so they're not getting blinded. Also control your heads up display, open the boot if you want, and here's a little bit of secret storage if you want to keep maybe your card, if you've got a garage key or something like that. It's not quite deep enough for your phone or anything like that, but you can definitely keep a couple of hidey holes in there and not everybody will notice it. And as you can see from the driver's seat, we've got plenty of room behind us, and being the long wheelbase we do have the 7 seats, so we've got 3 in the middle and 2 in the back, which I'll touch on in a second. So if we jump in the back, as you can see, we've got a little armrest there, so if you did want for 2, so this is designed to be a 7-seater. So there's a little bar you can pull under there to slide the rear seats back and forward. So if you did want to have it as a 5-seater with plenty of boot space, these seats do recline in almost a multitude of ways, so you've got plenty of knee and leg room, just like a normal RX. But if you wanted to sacrifice a little bit of knee room, you can slide that forward. So for reference, I've got plenty of headroom. I'm 5'11". Knee room isn't too bad either, being a mid-sized crossover. And as I mentioned, you can slide this forward and back depending on how much knee or leg room you're wanting. If you are wanting to use the rear, you'd need to slide that back, the middle seat forward a little bit, just to kind of compromise the middle bit, just to give enough people for the back. But we'll show you how the back seats work. Well, we're in the rear. Same high quality materials as you get in the front of the cabin, you get in the rear. Nice blend of your plastics, your metals and your leather. So to simply jump into the back, you pull this forward and slide the seat forward, and you can jump in. It's a little bit of a tight opening. So that's me in the third row of the Lexus RX. As you can see, it's pretty tight here. It's really designed for kids, but it's quite nice to have the versatility of the third row seats, as you can use it for simple things such as extra storage if you needed it, or if you may be carrying young kids often, or equally just want to give people a quick lift. Because if I show you, if I pull the seat all the way back, it kind of is a bit tight, you're kind of squashed up, so you can't really go long distances like this. However, Lexus have thought of the rear passengers in a way as they get their own climate vents and control. If you did want to increase and decrease the temperature, you can at a touch of a button. You have it as auto, or you can do your fan speed yourself, which is a nice feature to include. So if you do have kids here, or somebody travelling for a while, they've got a little bit of adjustability for their own comfort. While we're in the back, we've also got 2 cup holders there, so even if you do a drive-through with your 5 kids or 5 children or adults, they can all get a cup holder at least to cool their drinks, and a little bit of storage there, so maybe have your french fries there and your Coca-Cola up front, or being in Scotland, probably your Iron Brew. And the kids in the back will have a little bit of window there so they don't get too much travel sick, and you've got a nice view of the front. If I pull the seat back, that's kind of an example of the legroom you've got left in the third row. These headrests do pop up with nice soft ease, glide, and then there's your seatbelt there, tailored back, and then Lexus got a little hook there. You're going to keep them nice and out of the way. Material quality isn't as high as the second row, but this is kind of the boot area, so you'd expect that to be a little bit of lower quality. The headlining is all nice and soft, and in fact, as I said, you get the air vents, and it is all carpeted and soft material there where your elbows would rest. So in the third row there, Lexus have got wee clips where you can put your seatbelt to keep it out of the way to see if you get entangled, so when you're jumping out the area you don't trip over anything. So the RX450h uses a 3.5 litre V6 combined with 2 electric motors. One electric motor helps the front wheels and one goes into the back. 0 to 62 miles per hour can be reached in 8 seconds. For reference, that's just over 3 times slower than the 5-seat variation. And this car has a top speed of 124 miles per hour, and the car boasts 308 brake horsepower. So in conclusion, the RX450h L is a nice, relaxing, comfortable 7-seat SUV. It's best driven and adopted if you take it as a 5-seat with a +2 configuration, so you can have the back seats as a jump seats, or if you've got very small kids. Bear in mind that the rear seats can also take in child seats, so if you do have a young infant you want to carry, you can easily do that. Driving dynamics of the car is very soft and squishy. So thanks very much for watching my video on the Lexus RX450h L. If you like this video, make sure you like the video, and I'll see you next video. Thanks for watching. Ciao.